The pandemic hits home as the ECHL shuts down. We'll answer some questions about what comes next. If and when play resumes, one team still has a shot at a couple of league records. And we'll meet a coach who's new for the second straight season. It's a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. At least let's hope so. ECHL Week starts now.
Hi, welcome to another edition of ECHL Week. This time we come to you from the Norfolk Scope in Norfolk, Virginia, home of the Admirals. Let's get today's show started. Here's a look at our top story. This is now a season like no other. Joining numerous professional and amateur sports organizations in both North America and worldwide, ECHL teams decided to suspend the season on March 12th as a result of the COVID-19 virus. Many governmental directives are advising against having large gatherings, so ceasing games for now is an appropriate response. The ECHL, along with the National Hockey League and American Hockey League, all made similar announcements about suspension of operations within hours of one another. Prior to the 12th of March, just one game, Toledo's home victory over Cincinnati on the previous night, was affected. That game was played in an empty arena, and as you watch the highlights, you can see an uncharacteristic sight: lots of unoccupied seats at Huntington Center. The silence was only broken by the goal horn when the Walleye scored. However, the future of the season remains unknown and depends upon events out of the control of both league and team officials. At this point, many questions have still to be answered, and developing those answers will take some time. What we do know is that games will not be played until further notice, and teams will not practice. Some teams have already announced ticket exchange and/or refund policies. The rest are expected to have plans in place soon. Fans should look for communications from their local teams pertaining to this topic. Still to be determined, rescheduling of special promotional dates, and of course, what's going to happen with the 139 games remaining on the regular season schedule. Regarding the playoffs, it's simply too early for any decisions in that area. The geography of the league, spread across 2 countries and thousands of miles, can make for challenging decision-making. Teams are continuing to consult with both health and governmental officials to decide the best course of action to take. We hope to have the answers to some of these questions on next week's show. And don't forget, ECHL Week keeps you up to date as events unfold. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for timely updates.
We'll talk with members of a team at the top of the league standings when ECHL Week continues.
Hey, I'm Rocco Carzo of the Kansas City Mavericks, and you're watching ECHL Week.
For much of the season, South Carolina has been setting the pace in the ECHL. Although the Florida Everblades are making a hard charge at the South Division regular season title, the Stingrays were the first team to clinch a playoff spot this season. It'll be their 13th consecutive appearance in the Kelly Cup playoffs. And when you look at the numbers, the ones which really stand out are the ones not at the North Charleston Coliseum. With just 2 away games left, at least as the schedule stands now, the Rays can still set ECHL records for most wins and fewest losses on the road in one season. We asked some team members about that success away from home.
I mean, I don't know if there's a secret. It's just kind of playing the same way at home as we do on the road. And we started on the road a lot to start the year, and I think that kind of set the tone we knew we had to win those games early, because if you get behind early in the season, then it's tough to bounce back. So, I mean, we didn't really have a choice but to win on the road, and I think we just have kind of rode that wave all season.
Like you said, we definitely had a great start here, been particularly well on the road. I think we got a lot of guys in our locker room that are veterans and have played pro for a number of years, so they just kind of lead the way, and young guys like myself just kind of follow them. And on the road, I don't think we try to do anything different. Maybe just a little more, try to keep it simple or something like that. But I know definitely our record's been great so far and looking to keep it going.
And as far as that early nailing down of a playoff berth, it's not the ultimate goal, but it's a good one to have taken care of by late February.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot less stressful than in the years past, where it comes down to the very last game of the year, and that also takes its toll on your body going into the playoffs. So now it's nice, kind of got that out of the way, and now we can focus on keeping our game strong, doing the things the right way, and go into the playoffs with the right mindset.
We're still working for, to get our team better and make sure that when we get to the playoffs, we're in tip-top shape. So we're just we're working every day, and we kind of look forward to the next goal and getting home ice and securing the division title.
Late in the season and in the playoffs, plenty of talent and the ability for everyone to contribute will make the difference as far as a couple of Stingrays are concerned.
It's one of the most skilled teams I've been on in a really long time, probably in this league. And then second to that, it's how close we are in the room, like you touched on. We're having a good time, but we're also super serious about winning and finding the best ways to approach each game. So I think it's that combination that's been working for us.
I think what it takes is everyone. I mean, you obviously have your key guys and your top guys, but I think what makes the difference is everyone else. And when those guys are clicking, you even saw it tonight, everyone else stepping up. We're missing a few key players and guys are stepping up, and I think that's what's going to make the difference in the playoffs.
A South Division highlight game is straight ahead on ECHL Week.
Oh, great presentation, Tim. Could you email me the part about Geico, making it easy to switch and save hundreds?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You don't know my name, do you?
Of course I know your name. I just get you mixed up with the other guy. What's his name? What's your name?
Switch to Geico. You could save 15% or more on car insurance.
Could you just tell me? I want this to be over.
I'm Josh Helms of the Rapid City Rush, and you are watching ECHL Week.
A South Division matchup for you in today's highlight game of the week.
Thrower from behind his own net puts it into the corner. The long pass to Drapluck in the center of the blue line. This one rolling around. Nell jumps on it but can't get to it. Scoring here are the Solar Bears, and just like the last game, they take the first lead.
Saved by Eric Drapluck at the blue line. He just keeps that puck in, skates it down to the slide. Conway outside the faceoff. Now he'll shoot it in. Scott Conway with a wrist shot from the right faceoff circle. And just like that, the Gladiators get some of that momentum back. Campbell gathers it. They're bottling it for a second right in front of the Gladiator bench. There's Luke Nogard giving chase, and now he'll feed Derek Nesbitt coming right into the faceoff circle. He shoots and scores behind the net, and now this one comes out to Logan Nelson. He's ahead of the defense. He's got a chance to backhand shot, and he scores. Logan Nelson into the corner with a celebration. Shows off that Thor jersey in the corner with 5:12 to play in the second period.
Marchand, looking like a breakaway, moves in all alone, and he is sent into the net. Taking it from center ice, moves to his right. Coming out is Munson. Moving in, taking the shot, shooting it, just shooting it wide into the right of the net. Now clearing here is Olsen. Olsen from Duluth, Minnesota, the other Duluth, and this one is a goal here by John O'May, who crashes into Nell into the net. Nell very slow to get up here.
And John O'May is going to get his 18th goal of the year, his 35th point.
Hi, I'm Alex Krushelniski of the Indy Fuel, and you're watching ECHL Week.
Our season-long Meet the Coaches feature continues with Spiros Anastas of Brampton. He's in his second ECHL year, having spent 2018-19 behind the bench of South Carolina. What did he learn while with the Stingrays?
There were lots that I learned last year. Obviously, the year finished a little unexpectedly for me, and that in itself was a learning process in terms of the expectations of teams at this level and the need to not just reach expectations but surpass them. I learned that having a little bit more time to build our team and building it from the goal line out was really critical for me. I think that was an area that we struggled in last year when I was in SoCo, and bringing that mentality to Brampton was a priority for me.
One big change for Anastas this season: he grew up in the Toronto area and he's comfortable being at home with his family.
It's been really great for my wife and my 2 kids especially. I've been coaching for 11 years and I've never been within 6 hours of home. So to be 15 minutes from my hometown with my wife's parents and my parents there, and being able to drop the kids off at their grandparents, I think everybody's really grateful for the opportunity, and they know that with my career ambitions and the way hockey works, that it could be short-lived. So everyone's kind of taking every moment as full as possible.
His years spent in the South Division had quite an effect on Anastas and his mindset with the Beast as the season's home stretch looms.
What I learned last year is you can never take your foot off the pedal. Last year was a race right literally to the last second of the last game of the season. I might be, as a coach, in a more comfortable position this year looking ahead to the playoffs, but because of that learning experience last year, it's definitely not something I'm taking for granted.
Anastas is pleased with how his team has fared this season against divisional opponents, but he also knows there's much work left to be done.
We know that every opponent, whether it's Newfoundland, Maine, Reading, or Adirondack, if they get in, are real tough contests for us, and we look at it as season series, and currently all but Newfoundland we're in a pretty good spot to win the season series, and with 7 games remaining against Newfoundland, still a possibility for us. So if we just chip away 1 game at a time, we know that we can beat anybody come playoffs.
That wraps up another edition of ECHL Week from Norfolk, Virginia. Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow us on all our social media channels. We've got a lot of them. It's the best way to keep up to date on everything that's going on all throughout the ECHL. See you next time.